justice for all.
Today is February 11th, 2019. Can I have a roll call, please?
Beecher. Here. Basil.
Here.
Whalen.
Here.
Burrows.
Here.
Meyer.
Here.
Kraus.
Here.
January 28th meeting was canceled, so therefore we have the minutes of the January 14th meeting. Are there any changes? If not, is there a motion?
So moved.
The motion made and there is a second. Any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Beecher. Yes. Basil.
Yes.
Whalen.
Yes.
Burrows.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
I know we have three, but you come in.
I second that.
Anyways, we have three individuals that would like to make a presentation to the board, and it's all you.
My name is Brady Flores. Terry Caspit and I are co-chairs for the Beecher Youth Commission. We are also joined by longtime Commissioner Trish Moran. When we heard about the efforts to bring a playground equipment to Fireman's Park, we kind of started an informal conversation about what the Youth Commission could do to help out with this effort. All of our children at one time or another have played sports at the park or attended events. And even though it's the Youth Commission's mission to provide events for the community, we recognize what an asset this playground would be to our community. So therefore, on behalf of the Beecher Youth Commission, we would like to present a check for $2,500 to the Fireman's Park Top Fund.
Okay, Donna, grab the check form.
Like you just gave it to me.
Yeah, I was
gonna give it back to you.
The check request, they're like, what are we making out
Picture with
to?
them with Scott.
How about if you three with Scott, and we'll take a picture?
Oh, all right.
That's great. Thank you.
Decent.
No.
You want to use my phone?
We always do it with two, just in case one doesn't turn out.
Well, we should have, we talked about getting one of those.
Yes,
before.
I have the Gilmore check. Where's the big one? I have the Gilmore check.
Just
go take one of those.
We're
good? Yeah, let's take it out. What do you think?
So it's like official money?
Whose camera?
Oh.
All right.
Hey,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies, I'll try to say it every single time I see you. Nice job, you do some excellent work. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the audience wish to address the board? Okay, we have the village commission's beautification. Matt, you have anything?
We're not having a meeting this month, but we will next month. We're starting the process of looking for flower vendors for our hanging baskets, and hopefully we'll have something by next month.
Fourth of July commission, Roger?
Really nothing to report.
The youth commission, trustee reserve?
Okay, so we just had an exciting weekend. We had our daddy-daughter dance, and it was the biggest attended one yet with 293 people. 3 to 4 also registered but did not make it. So it was a huge success, and we're happy that we can do it. Our next event is the Mom and Son Dance, which will be in April. So more to come on that, and as always, we are always looking for volunteers and potential commissioners. Please come join a meeting. They're held the third Wednesday of every month here at the Village Hall, 7:30 p.m. If you're interested, come see what we're about. And that's all I have.
Do you know when in April?
April 6th.
April 6th. Thank you. Historic Preservation Commission, trustee Whalen.
Yes, we had a meeting. We talked about, we're coming up with another list of plaque people, properties that are going to qualify for that. We're also going to be sending out letters to people that have not installed them yet, you know, as far as getting them up on the building or getting them on stakes or whatever. We just had the furnace go out this Saturday, so we were able to get that up and running. And our next meeting is February 20th at 6 p.m. We're always looking for volunteers or commission members and so on. So if you're interested, come on down. It's at the depot. And if you haven't seen the depot yet, it's a great place to come and visit and look around. That's it.
Thank you. Trustee Basil?
Treasurer's report, Donna? The total in the village accounts at the end of January was $2,877,094.16. The total of the commission and special accounts, $187,564.78. The total of all accounts combined, $3,064,658.94. The total in general at month end was $776,120.99. The total of the commission bills, commission non-AP payments, $218,653.56. And if there are no questions, that's the end of my report.
Any questions on the bills? Now, I'd like to make a motion to approve the treasurer's report and financial activities for the prior month.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second to the motion, any questions? Roll call.
Kraus?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Caprows?
Yes.
Whaling?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
Variance reports for the preceding month are enclosed for your review. And the approval of the bills for the prior month. The bills were sent out, and there's some additions. Beecher Hardware for $444.58. Cargill, de-icing. Cancellation Energy, $10,810. County of Will, $17,609. HR Green, $819.80. I believe that's all the additions. But we did have one extra bill come in today for call one for $1,333.00 that we want to add to the bills. Those are any questions of the bills? If not, I'd like to make a motion to pay last month's bills for $139,629.09.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Any second, any questions of the motion? Roll call.
Mazer?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Whaling?
Yes.
Caprows?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes. Mr. President, I forgot Bruce's report on the agenda. She does everything.
Oh, do we want to do that now?
I just noticed there's no clerk's report on the agenda. That must have got mixed up with the combination of the two.
Yeah. I put in front of everybody's place here, we had a request from Nathan Swanson from the Beecher Track and Field at the high school, and they want to hold a 5K run on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, which I believe is a Saturday. So Saturday or Sunday? But it would be from like around 11 to 12. I'm sure there'll be some street closures. He provided a route, a map route.
Say Sunday?
Was it Sunday? Okay. So I just told them that since the street closures were involved, that the board should take a look at it and provide their comments. They were also going to the police station to talk to the police department EMA about the street closures and any kind of support that they would need on that end.
No, is this a full road closure, or are they gonna allow locals to go in?
I don't think that he had, he's a high school kid, and I don't think he really got that far. I think he needs some guidance as to,
I mean, if
what
it is a
he
Sunday,
needs to do.
people will be coming home from church about that time.
Right. I'm sure that, he'll comply with what we want, so we just gotta give him some clear instructions, I would assume.
When I spoke with him, I told him that I know for the Lions Club, it is not a full road closure, so that he needed to be aware of that.
It's a monitor and slow down.
Yeah.
Anybody have any problems with it? Okay, as long as you contact the police department, takes care of it. If you guys are gonna be continuing.
First item is consider a motion approving a proposal for auditing service for fiscal year 19, 20, and 21. The village solicited 15 and received 4 proposals. The results are contained in the closed report along with each proposal. That was in last meeting, that's where the proposals are. The committee met and agreed to knock out Lauterbach and Amen, the current auditing firm. Since we try to get new eyes on our finances, and the one from Kankakee, the Abrams, and we didn't think, we have no information about them, so we really didn't want to include them in. So Marcy and I talked, and the Citrix and the SKDO we thought were the best two. The SKDO was the firm that we used in the past.
Right before the one we've gotten.
Right, so the total cost, I mean, it's a $900 difference over 3 years. And the firm from Naperville, the Sikich, they're highly recommended, and they also do Crete, and we've got a lot of information about them. And whatever the board wants, but I think it would be great to go with a new fresh set of eyes. And I know it's more than the other proposals, but like I say, the Kankakee, we really don't have a lot of information about them. So
Does the committee have a recommendation?
the Sikich, I thought we,
That's one we've never used before?
right, and they audited in Crete, and I guess they're highly recommended.
Yeah, the Smith Kelly Dykstra owned whatever, is $900 cheaper over 3 years, but we've had them before, so whether you want somebody new or, go back to the last one is basically the difference.
Where do the recommendations come from for the Sikich?
Crete was one of the recommendations, and I thought one of the girls at work with
Maria
us closely.
Alexachuk that reviews my reconciliations every month. She's worked extensively with them, and her words were, she's worked extensively with them, and they're extremely thorough. She highly recommended them.
Some of the other towns they do, other than Crete, is Woodview Fields, Oak Forest, Sherwood, and Plumfield. I'm sure they do a lot more than that outside our area. That's a big firm.
Any other questions? Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve a proposal for auditing service for fiscal year 19, 20, and 21 for the Sikich Group.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Second, any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Do we need to note the amount in that motion, or just specific?
Accept the 3-year proposal from Sikich for the amount specified.
Kraus,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Whaling.
Yes.
Basil.
Yes.
Lizard.
Yes.
All right, budget cycle begins. We are now beginning the budget development phase with the department heads approving their budgets to be referred to the committee by February 1st. In the month of February, the Public Works Safety Committee can meet if they wish to go over their department budgets, and then a budget workshop occurs in March. We can choose a Monday, March 11th after the board meeting, Tuesday, March 12th, Monday, March 25th after the board meeting, or Tuesday, March 26th. The public hearing following by adoption would occur on April 22nd, Monday, April 22nd. The board needs to select a workshop date. My recommendation is after the board meetings on Monday.
My suggestion would be sooner the better, March 11th.
Is it the 11th and not the 12th? I'm sorry.
You've got the 11th on here.
March
Yeah,
11th
it's
is after the board meeting.
Tuesday's the 12th.
Tuesdays for me nowadays would be very rough, I couldn't get here before 7:30, maybe
Right.
midday, but
Right.
Mondays are good.
Okay, March 11th should be a short meeting, and then we go right into there.
You two, works for you two?
How do you feel?
You want to stay late?
Bring your clothes and Mike and
Scott? Yeah, yeah. All right, March 11th.
Don't be offended, I will be eating, we're gonna be
Do I have
eating.
to- do I have to make a motion to that, or?
No,
No. So we agree March 11th?
that's a regular board meeting, we'll just
Okay.
recess and we'll go back in.
All right, that was easy. All right, consider a motion authorizing a public hearing on the proposed budget on Monday, April 22nd at 7 PM. So I'd like to make a motion authorizing a public hearing on the proposed budget on Monday, April 22nd at 7 PM.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There is a second to the motion, any questions? Roll call.
Zurich,
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
LaFors?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
All right, the 5-year plan update. The plan has been revised per board direction at the January 11th workshop and will be provided at the meeting. We can discuss the plan further to place it on the agenda for consideration at the February 25th meeting. And the last item on my agenda is Comcast annual report for 2018 is enclosed for your review. There was 53 complaints logged by the village residents that year. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Public Buildings, Properties, Parks and Recreation, trustee Bailey.
Time update, we're getting closer. With our presentation tonight, we're another $2,500 closer. Right now, we're still at 12.5, right, Donna? I think is where we're at.
Well, it was 10-5.
10.5, so we're at 13. 13. So I
How much
have
is
a
it
call.
ordered, how much is it ordered in equipment, the material?
We need right around 18.
18.
So I'm thinking I have a call into Beecher Rec to find out what their final decision was. But we should be getting pretty close. If nothing else, you know, we can get it rolling and try to get some more commitments. At least get it ordered, because it's gonna be like a 6-week ordering
Well,
time.
after that, we have to build that sucker too, that takes a while.
Yeah,
If you want it for opening day of baseball.
right, which is April 25th, I believe, is the first day of,
Should be the 27th, that's the last Saturday. It's usually that last Saturday in April.
okay. Because I know they're gonna
27th or
coordinate
28th.
the lights at the park at the same time, you know, so.
Put that on your to-do list for this week, come see Matt and I, and we'll have to get that
Okay.
all.
All right.
Are we waiting on anyone else besides REC? I think they have a decision, I just don't know.
Well, we're still gonna be a little bit
I don't wanna say
short.
anything
We're
just
gonna
not
have to
sure.
still come up with some funds at some point.
Was there any entities we're waiting on?
No,
Okay.
yeah. Just Beecher Rec at this time. And they made a commitment that they were gonna do it, I just don't know the dollar amount yet. So. Lions Park? I think that's,
We have everything tore out of there right now. We have the new plastic playground surrounds on a pallet at the shop. We're just waiting for the weather to break to get some stuff going back in the right direction there.
okay. Status of the building purchase?
All we're waiting for is a closing date.
Okay.
Everything has been done, and we know the survey was done, we saw the diagram of the survey, but not the legal description. That's all we're waiting for.
Okay.
My guess is they're trying to get clean title. Those are title should trying to move through.
Okay,
Because they're splitting those properties.
right. Yeah, and I don't know if they were separate PIN numbers or not, you know.
They were goofy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the new plot was right.
Yes.
The
Okay.
plot was 100% right, so we're just waiting.
Okay, so then ends my report.
Thank you. Planning, Building, and Zoning Committee, trustee Mayor.
Okay. The building department monthly report and annual report is enclosed for your review. As far as our PZC meeting on January 24th, we basically tabled the recreational vehicle and the RV issues that we were having for another year. This past season didn't seem like it brought many complaints, and the ones that did come were resolved pretty quickly. So we wanna see how this year goes as well, and then they'll talk about it more. We, of course, went over the comprehensive plan for 2040, and since our last time, they met with the junior high. And oddly, these kids had a lot of the same ideas as everybody else. They like the small town, they'd like to see restaurants, they'd like to see retail, things to do around town. One kid mentioned a movie theater. And then the next, at least their next set was to meet with a Hispanic focus group, so we should have an update on that after our next meeting. And we split the room and did a couple of activities as to what if certain things come, like the airport in Ileana, and what if they don't. And so that was pretty much the basis of the meeting, and I'll have another update next time. And then also consider an ordinance amending flood plan management in the village to conform with the new flood insurance rate maps and language as provided by FEMA. This ordinance is required to be adopted to conform with the new federal guidelines for flood insurance in the village of Beecher. This is a very technical ordinance that has to be amended every 20 years or so when the federal government updates their regulations. The last update was 1995, and FEMA has been working on this update since 2010. It is recommended that the update be approved. Communities have to have a federally approved ordinance on file so homeowners qualify for flood insurance if they choose to purchase it. The ordinance may be attached to this agenda, sent as a separate PDF letter in the week provided before the meeting, since it's still polished by the village attorney. Beecher has been a certified community since 1968.
It's been a beast to get it to this point, let me tell you. But it doesn't really change anything, you gotta adopt the new maps and firm panels and all that.
Now,
Very technical.
you know, I know that for a while there was a floodplain coming through on Trim Creek, right?
Yeah, we got that exempted, that was on Catalpa Street,
Okay,
over there right in Frank's neighborhood.
okay.
That firm has been approved, so they will still stay on the floodplain. Basically, the maps have not changed all that much.
Okay.
Did everybody get that attachment and get to review it? Does anybody have any questions before I make a motion to adopt it? Okay.
1301.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 1301, amending flood plain management in the village to conform with the new flood insurance rate maps and language as provided by FEMA.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There is a second, any questions of the motion? Roll call.
Kraus,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Caprows,
Yes.
Whalen,
Yes.
Basil.
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes,
That's it.
that's all I have, sorry.
Public Safety Committee, Trustee Cross.
Thank you. The police department, EMA, and code enforcement reports, monthly reports are closed. Consider an ordinance authorizing the village president and clerk to sign an intergovernmental agreement with Beecher School District 200U for reestablishing an SRO program. This agreement covers, it says 4 years, but then they agree on a 5-year bond.
Yes.
So it's not gonna be 4 with an option, it's going to be a 5-year IGA. School district pays roughly 71% of the cost, and village picks up the remaining 29%. How that pans out is when the officer's in school, we're asking them to pay for it. When the officer's not in the school, the village is covering it. That's where we got the percentages from. Cost of the program is $82,306 in the first year. This got the school district split and our split for the first year, and there was also a chart enclosed with the breakdown of cost for the 5 years of the program. Chief, do you have anything to add?
Nope.
So in the summertime, when they're not in the school, will they be
Oh.
going in, or?
What we plan on doing is, since there'll be a juvenile investigator, there'll be a lot of cases to catch up on. So there's quite a few of those, primarily.
Yeah, it's the discretion of the chief to how to use them when they are not in the school. There's also, in that appendix, is that the duties in there? Yeah, exhibit A. It's extensive, but it's a guideline on what we expect and what the school expects. It's not just because it's in here, or if it's not in here, it's not gonna happen. And this is just sort of it's a guideline of what each side can expect, so everyone is going into this knowing sort of what they're getting out of it. And obviously, if something else is needed, that would be between the SRO, the superintendent and chief to figure it out.
When do we change to a 5-year plan?
They asked for that, it was like the week after we met, I think, Bob, is that right?
Yeah, actually, it was last week, Wednesday.
They originally asked for the fourth option of one, and then, I don't know, whatever you told me, they changed their mind, the superintendent called you, right?
That's correct.
And asked for a 5-year instead of a 4 and 1 with the option.
Is there any reason why we can't wait till budget time?
For,
Take a look at the overall picture of the budget of the village and so on and so forth. That's why I asked for the meeting at March 11th to do it as soon as we can. And maybe this should be discussed at budget time as well.
the way it's explained to me by the village administrator, that it's already covered in the budget proposal with no extra funds.
But again, it was extended out to a 5-year plan. That's
Well,
what's
when we
concerning.
talked about it, we were talking about at least a minimum of 3 years,
Yeah, I
but
thought
the
it was,
longer the better.
I thought it was 3
higher
with
the
an option of 1, and now we're at 5. I just, to share some, there was a lot of conversation amongst a lot of people, a lot of things, and one concern is that we've got this year covered, but then what about the following years? And now what's concerning me is now that we're up to a 5-year plan, I don't know if we should just take a look at the budget first, or it's at the pleasure of the board. It's just a thought that I had.
So did you just build that in for like this year, or since you
Yeah,
guys
it-
had the conversation?
The budget is balanced for next year, but moving down the road, the general fund does have a deficit. Now, it's not directly attributable just to the SRO program, there's other factors in play. But I talked to it, if I couldn't balance next year, the chief said he'd forego 1 year of purchasing an SUV to keep the SRO program, and in 2021, we'd have more options available to us from a revenue point of view.
I mean, I'm in favor of the SRO officer.
Just to specify, I don't think there's anybody against it, it's just that there's concern about the future with the money and so on and so forth, so I think we can safely say that that's clear, we're not against it at all. It's just that, again, I learned today, shame on me, that I didn't see the 5-year plan, because we talked about something less than that, and today somebody specified it to me. So I'm just bringing that up for discussion, or just a point to be raised. And then lost my train of thought.
Is there a copy of the IGA? Yeah, it should be in your
It's in the-
first one packet. No, it'd be in the packet for today's meeting.
The other thing that came up today, I don't think this would happen, but we're both approving this at the same time, and I don't know if one should approve it, and then we wait 2 weeks and then approve it then, in case something changes at their level. I don't think it would. But
Yeah, I mean, I know it's on the school board agenda tonight.
we're,
I'm here, so I don't know what's going on there. But this was negotiated between myself, the chief, village administrator, the superintendent, and the high school principal.
just with the pleasure of the board.
I got a couple questions. What happens if there's, is there an out for either side on this?
There is, initially there was not.
Yeah, by mutual agreement with both parties.
I suggested, and then the attorney agreed with the suggestion, or he agreed to put it back in. But this is the way,
Section E.
this is the way I would see it, no matter what is said there, if we can't fund it, or they can't fund it, it can't be funded. I mean, it's,
The concern that was raised is if we make a commitment to hire an officer for this position, typically what would happen is you would hire a new officer to work the street, and then one of our current officers would serve as an SRO. And if the SRO program was terminated, that officer had to go back on the street, the more veteran officer, so he'd be laying somebody off. And we didn't want to be in a position where we make a commitment to hiring a new officer and then laying that individual off. And that was the reason that we were very stubborn on not allowing one party just to kill the program.
And then, just to give you some background, there was a lot of discussion on different options of what to do and how to do it. Some of which was taking an existing officer now, rather than increasing anything. Part-time hirebacks, not necessarily all from Beecher, from others, along with social workers and so on and so forth. There were different options that were explored before the school came back, and everybody agreed that this is the route that they wanted to take. That was the question that was asked of me today, were there other options considered? The answer is yes.
Have we advertised for part-time at all?
Yes.
And we've got no hits?
We have some, but we have, one part-time that's in the academy now. I mean, just the ones we swore in,
Mhm.
what was it, last month?
Yep.
Those are the two we have right now. We
And
don't
that's all
have,
part-time we have?
like the new ones,
I mean, our whole staff,
how many part-timers we have total?
We have 5.
5.
Plus
Yeah,
those
I-
2 new ones are 7.
People aren't beating down our door to work part-time, Eric, that's what you're asking.
No,
I mean, there's,
I would imagine you want a full-time job.
A large majority of the part-time employee, or part-time kids,
Alright, I'm for it, so, I mean, anybody else? A couple of the things that concern me is, the school's, commitment to it. Potential of a new board, and the possibility of a majority of their board turning over. You know, if this were to pass through this board that exists at the school, you know, that's one thing, but they actually have a majority of their seats up for election. So, I mean, you could literally have an entire turnover of a majority strength, that, what is their commitment gonna be? I'd like to think, after attending things yesterday and the way, a lot of the candidates talked, I think they would be in favor of it, but I can't speak for them. And then, my other question, which I did have, which I don't know about on the school end, has there been any research done into any grants for this?
on the school's end.
Or on our end?
There isn't anything right now that I know of, correct?
They, you know, there was talk about it after all those incidents and nothing came down.
I mean, that was a big thing in the late 90s, and when that dried up, it hasn't come back as far as I know, in the last 15-ish years.
So we're sure of that though? I mean, we can honestly say that.
We can double check into it, yeah.
I think it is in there though,
Grant.
about grants, that if the grants are available, that either party or both parties will apply for
You
them.
can get grants out the wazoo for equipment and things like that. When it comes to personnel costs, there's just very few grants for that. And I don't know why that is. The first SRO program was funded by a program called Universal Hiring. It was started by the Clinton administration. We had 75% funded by the feds for 3 years.
And the grants are always, not always, the grants that we're talking about, they were capped at 3 years. So even after 3 years, you still had to fund that,
That's what
that
happened.
person.
That's what happened. The last SRO in school lost its funding, so they stopped.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if something comes up in the future where there are grants, either through the school or us, I don't really see why we wouldn't try to get a grant on either side to defer some costs. You have an ordinance number?
1302.
I'd like to make a motion for an ordinance 1302 authorizing the village president and clerk to sign an intergovernmental agreement with Beecher School District 200U for reestablishing an SRO program.
So motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. Any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Zurich,
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Whaling,
Yes.
LaForce.
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes. Animal Control Program annual report is enclosed for your review. What was it, 23 total animals they said, or 33? And consider a motion adopting a 2-year list of full-time candidates for police officers. Gave everyone a copy of the list. Does anyone not have it? So this is our full-time list. This is not the part-time. We had 12 people qualify to take the test. 2 failed the physical, 10 took the written, 2 failed the written, which left us with 8 candidates. We did the oral interviews off this, and here's their final rank. It's the scores in the rank. The scores are the written exam, the oral exam added up. And that's where we get the rank from. Myself, Commissioner Terry, and Trustee Wheeling did the interviews. And these are the scores we came up with after conducting all the tests. This list will be good for 2 years. It's just the standard, or until it's exhausted, either or.
So if we had an opening, Todd, we'd start with Urbanski, and then we would better Urbanski out in the background, and have this
Yes,
psych and poly.
whatever, you give them a conditional offer of employment pending passing out the psych, polygraph, background, financial, all that stuff, and they still have to do their academy, FTO program, probation before their, I guess, board is vested in the department.
And who has the final say in saying we're going to number 2, deputy chief?
What do you mean?
Well, let's say we found something with candidate number 1, I don't use last names. Candidate number 1 came up with a background issue, chief's uncomfortable with that. Can we go to number 2?
Yes.
He doesn't need approval of the committee or the board, right?
No, because if they fail something in the background, polygraph, psych, whatever,
Okay,
they fail their FTO program, you just go in the next candidate.
got it.
Or assume you would notify the committee that he's going on to number 2 and tell them these reasons to want.
Any other questions on this?
I do. Do we have any plans to advertise for part-time officers in the near future?
Well, we ran it for 2 months.
We did the same thing with Public Works, and we had 18 candidates. We ran it 2 months later
Okay.
after we had much larger success. You never know who's looking and when, and sometimes it's the luck of the draw. It doesn't cost us much to run it, right?
It was $99 for the month, or $99 for 3 months?
3 months now.
I mean, any thoughts on running it again? Because I know that, like in the past, we talked about it in a 5-year plan, on the shortage of manpower. The last time, we only had 2 new ones sworn in. I still think, from what you've told me in the past, I'm not gonna speak for you, but it sounds like you would still be short. I mean, any consideration on running it again to try to help fill that?
Yeah, I have another person on the line, a Will County Sheriff's Deputy, that's in the process of filling in his app right now. That's another person. Same as us, they work 12 hours, so he has a lot of availability. Plus he works in this area. I just haven't brought him forward yet. But yeah, I don't disagree. I think we're slated for 15, so if we have some room to grow, to cover some of these hours, I think it'd be a good idea. So we can probably post it again.
So I'd like to make a motion adopting the 2-year list of full-time candidates for police officers.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Kraus,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
LaForce.
Yes.
Whaling.
Yes.
Basil.
Yes.
Zurich.
Yes.
And this list will be posted here at the Village Hall and at the Police Department. And then again, I'd just like to thank Trustee Wheeling and Commissioner Terry for all their help. Between part-time and full-time, we've spent a lot of hours interviewing, mostly good, some not good. And this is the fruits of our labor, so thank you to those guys. And then that concludes my report.
Thank you, Public Works Committee, Trustee Forrest.
Water Department monthly reports are enclosed for review, along with Sewer Department monthly reports. Water billing register for the months of November and December are also enclosed for your review. Annual report on water billing is enclosed for your review. Ended the year with a 69% build to pump ratio, which is our 10-year average, and build about 2 million less gallons of water than the previous year. I know in Matt, in speaking to him, it's a constant effort on working on the pump to build ratio. We added 23 new accounts. The average customer is billed for 176 gallons each day, and we pump about 267. Consider a resolution authorizing a standing permit for repairs to village facilities in states right away for 2019 and 2020. This is a standard practice we do every other year. You have resolution number
2019, 2019-1, so 2019-1.
I'll go ahead and make a motion approving resolution 2019-1, authorizing a standing permit for repairs to the village facilities and state right-of-ways for 2019 and 2020.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There is a second, any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Ms. Zerich?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Whaling?
Yes.
DeProst?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
Sewer plant improvement project update. Bob, you got a update for us on that?
Yeah, we had a project meeting last week. We are running behind schedule. The weather has not been helping. We've been having some issues in the last 30 days with our pumping, but I think as of today, we have the bypass pumping sequence all figured out. Is that correct, Matt?
Yeah, we're still working some of the piping issues out, but our new pump is online, so.
That'd be the new
Yeah.
diesel pump at Pine Creek. And then the old pump, is that gonna go then to the
That's going
sewer
to the
plant?
plant.
Eventually, yeah, we got some of that tore apart right now. Xylem was out and found some issues with that, so we're trying to do some of that stuff in-house to keep costs down.
Consider a motion authorizing payment to IHC in the amount of $852,734.79 as a progress payment on the sewer plant project. That of course is subject to receipt of the loan funds from the IEPA. So I'll go ahead and make a motion authorizing payment to IHC in the amount of $852,734.79 as a progress payment on the sewer plant project, subject to receipt of loan funds from the IEPA.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There is a second, any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Kraus?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
DeProst?
Yes.
Whaling?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Ms. Zerich?
Yes.
Consider a motion authorizing payment to Baxter and Woman in the amount of $31,454.26 for construction management services in the month of December on the sewer plant project. Again, upon receipt of loan funds from the IEPA. So I will go ahead and make a motion authorizing payment to Baxter and Woman in the amount of $31,454.26 for construction management services in the month of December on the sewer plant project. Again, upon receipt of loan funds from the IEPA.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There is a second to the motion, any questions? Roll call.
Ms. Zerich?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Whaling?
Yes.
DeProst?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
SCADA separation and improvement project update. Matt, you got an update for us?
Let me explain what happened. The decision was made to separate the water and sewer systems brains, I guess we call it the brains, the computer system. The problem is, the sewer plant was gonna get an upgraded brain, but we never thought about what are we gonna do with the water side. We can't split the brain, it has to have its own brain. So this was a problem that we're gonna have to budget for next year in our SCADA system, is to give a new brain to the water. I'll let Matt take it from there and explain.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Bob kinda mentioned a lot about it, but we're gonna be taking our water side out of the sewer plant where it currently is and moving it to our public works facility, and so that way we have better access to it. That way when we get SCADA calls for one or the other, we kinda know what's going on within the separate systems instead of getting one call for both at once. It could help in the future, I know we've talked a little bit about it, if the village would ever decide to part one way or the other with either one of the water or sewer systems. It'd be an easier break if that time were to ever come, but
If we were to
it's,
outsource the sewer plant's operation,
right,
we'd be able to do that.
yeah, so it's a work in progress. So some of the stuff that they do is takes anywhere from 3 to 4 months to build all the SCADA control panels and things like that, so they're already now working on our next step for a couple months from now, so we've been in the process of that for quite a while now, so.
Okay. Status of the sale of the surplus equipment. I think it was all done in motions, right? They sold the equipment that they came in and purchased, right?
Yeah, the stuff that we had for sale out by the shop, we missed the auction, the municipal auction, a couple weeks ago due to weather. But there's other auctions that come up weekly or monthly also, so we're gonna try to jump on board with those, so.
Are you gonna sell the sewer plant car through the auction?
We're still going back and forth with that right now, just trying to debate on what goes on with this coming year's budget. So with sewer sampling and things like that, so.
Yeah, if we aren't gonna bring our own samples, that's what that car would be for.
And then, lastly, status of the Oak Park water main replacement extension.
I talked to Brant, we're kinda in a holding pattern now because of weather, so we're hoping mid-March they'll get started on it. It shouldn't take them any more than a week or two to get that done, so. Once they get going, they'll fly through that pretty easy.
Any questions? Concludes my report.
Thank you. Economic Development, Community Relations Committee, trustee Meyer.
So with our Facebook page, since we launched it, I've been kind of looking around at the last couple of months to see who's on the page, who's looking at it. I mean, the thought is that Facebook is for old people, depending on your age.
Careful.
Depends on your point of view as to who is old. But as far as people looking at the page, in the past 28 days, our posts have reached 8,807 people. Engagements are 6,135, and that's actually, I think, Jeanette, you can corroborate it, when somebody actually clicks on it or shares it or has some kind of interaction instead of just breezing past it.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of real technical things when it comes to it, and it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
understand all of it.
But we've got 35 new page likes in the last 28 days. Some of the higher stuff, Beecher's Liquorland announcement. We reached 1,900 people with 1,200 engagements. When the skating rink opened, that reached 3,100 people with 1,100 engagements. And then it's just 35 new page likes, 34 followers. The interesting part, one of the more interesting parts, we have 1,075 page likes. Every time I go in here week by week, the percentages never change. So 72% of those who like the page are women, 28% men. Actually, it says 27%. I don't know what the 1% is. Age ranges, the highest age group that like our page are 35 to 44 years old. The next highest by just a hair is 25 to 34. And then it goes into what I would call older people. 45 to 54, and then 55 to 64, 65 plus, then it drops to 18 to 24. 13 to 17, there's a little line, I can't tell if there's like one person or just they put it there as a place marker. But cities, 500, and now some people, when I was first on Facebook, I didn't say Beecher because I'm kind of easy to find with my name and Beecher, so I said I was from Chicago. So these aren't exactly accurate, but it's got 509 from Beecher, 126 from Chicago, 39 from Crete, 33 Grant Park, 23 Peatone, 20 Stager, 17 Mantino, 16 Monique, 13 Cedar Lake, and 12 in Lowell. And then, countries. So 1,074 people are from the United States, and one person is from India. And people that like our Facebook page also like, when it comes to media and news, Tasty and WGN Morning News, musician and band Luke Bryan and Tim McGraw, retail companies, Target and Amazon, TV shows is Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, or you can tell this is old, Freeform, 25 Days of Christmas. Now, this changed in the past week. The news and media website that they like the most, it's probably because of the weather, is Illinois Storm Chasers. It was, up until recently, Ellen DeGeneres and Donald Trump. What? It was kind of an interesting group, but that's kind of the demographics of our page. So just in case anybody was curious about that. That's it for Facebook. TIF district update. Enclosed is a new timeline for TIF approval, and May 1st has been set as the target date with June 17th as the drop dead date. Next committee, we should have a TIF report to review, hopefully. that ends my report.
And contrary to what it says, I do have a report of change since the last meeting. I did attend the legislative breakfast the other day where there was roughly 10 legislators there, and probably the most major topics that were discussed was a capital bill, which everybody's assuring us that it's coming down the road. Airport. This is the first time that I heard that J.B. Pritzker has made a comment that he is in favor for the airport, provided it doesn't compete with Midway or O'Hare. That's the first comment I ever heard from him. There was very little said on the Ilion Expressway, except our state rep was there, Dick Smith. I mentioned to him about the Ilion Expressway, and he says, oh yeah, he said, they haven't forgotten about it. I have not heard anything one way or the other, and don't forget, we did do a river cutting at Liquor Land. If you haven't been in there, please go in there. The shelves are stocked real well. He does bring up a lot of spirits. Get it? All right, with that, any other old business coming forward? New business?
Not necessarily new business, but I just wanted to give some recognition in the last month to the police department. There was a community need that was put out there on Facebook for a family that needed some stuff, and between Officer Mazurek and Officer Tagenhorst, they were able to reach that family and help them, so that's great, as well as the community. The community reached out too, so we do have a great cohesive community. And then the second thing is with the polar vortex. Again, Officer Mazurek and Officer Tagenhorst got the warming center up pretty quickly when that power outage happened. So I just wanted to recognize that the police department really does stand up and take charge when needed. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other new business?
Two quick things. Matt, what was wrong with the crossing lights over on Route 1? They're cold. Are they working now?
No.
Okay. So they're just, when it was really cold, I would drive by and see the lights and no kids, and I just thought I was losing it. So they just turned them off, right? And they called.
Yeah, I pulled the fuses on them and I called the company to, usually when that happens, the radios don't communicate with each other and
Okay.
so they have not given me an ETA yet on when they'll be out here to look at them.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah.
And then this morning, Trustee Whalen and I met with the fire chief and the fire lieutenant. We talked about, the fire department is asking to start doing safety inspections of commercial buildings. This was brought to myself and Trustee Whalen by the mayor and village administrator a couple months ago. So the fire department wants to do safety inspections of commercial properties at no cost to the owners. So we did do one today, a mock one.
Pass or fail?
Huh?
Pass or fail?
Some minor, very minor issues to take care of, which will be taken care of. But anyway, so that'll be coming. They're asking for an IGA. We'll be working on that the next couple weeks, and I'd like to try to get done for next meeting, but if not, it'll be a month away, just so everyone's aware that's coming down. It's safety orientated, fire exits, fire extinguishers, making sure nothing's an accident waiting to happen. We're not gonna start, this isn't an inspectional services where we start checking baseboards and see if they're painted or not or whatever. The horror stories I've heard. It's safety, it's something the fire department wants to provide to the town, and I think it's something that we should, we're gonna look at. So that'll be coming. And that's all I got.
And I just had one item, over the last 30 days, we haven't met for the last month, but we had several winter weather events, and I think we've only registered one complaint at City Hall regarding services, so kudos to the Public Works Department for that. So if you do have a complaint, or know of a complaint, I'm speaking to the cameras here, call the Village Hall and let us know what your complaint is. We can't do anything about it if we don't know about it. So if you go on Facebook and tell people about it, maybe we don't see it, let us know if you have a concern, and Public Works will address your issue.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion made, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, any questions? Roll call.
Cross? Yes. Meyer?
Yes.
LaFors?
Yes.
Whalen?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Missouri?
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.